Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Up now, we have brand marketing in the metaverse. How can interactive virtual worlds help your business? Our presenter today is Tamra Knepfer. Tamra?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. So I'm about to take you on a journey into brand marketing in the metaverse, and I have 20 minutes. So while most public speaking classes will say slow down, I'm not going to. I'm going to go very fast. So fasten your virtual seatbelt, and here we go. A little bit of background on myself. My background's in the licensing industry. I started my career at Disney. I worked at Sesame Workshop, American Greetings, Corey, and Branded Entertainment Network. I actually started my own agency 13 years ago, and it started as simply a licensing agency, and it evolved into more than that. It evolved into brand partnerships and collaboration, even influencer marketing and sponsorship and so forth. And one of the companies I was working with, called Wave XR, was doing virtual concerts, and I was bringing brands in and doing product integrations. And they were really a technology company, not a production company. So when the pandemic hit, people were calling me saying, can Wave produce our shareholder meeting? Can they do our Christmas party? What can we do other than Zoom or live stream from the basement? And it was then that I realized that brands and companies needed help to really understand what the options were within these virtual worlds. And not just what the options were, but how to do it, who does it. There's so many different companies, developers, et cetera, across a very fragmented and very rapidly changing business. This is what I set out with Metabrands to do. So I evolved my agency and started calling it Metabrands right before Facebook became Meta. So that's really what Metabrands is about. So a lot of people have very different definitions of what the metaverse is. So I thought it was really important for us to kind of start so we're all speaking from the same place. There isn't really agreement on what the metaverse is. There is agreement that it is the next evolution of the internet. It's the newest technological revolution that will be changing life as we currently know it. A lot of people think that the metaverse has to be a network of connected 3D virtual worlds, and that connectivity has not happened yet. So you might ask some people, and they might say, the metaverse doesn't exist yet. What is true is that this metaverse, or the discussion around all this metaverse, is really the result of a perfect storm of all different types of technology, VR, AR, even 5G, gaming, haptics, cryptocurrency, all of these things kind of happening at the same time and really sped up by the pandemic. I read somewhere that the development of the metaverse is moving faster than the internet. It actually moved forward 10 years in 12 to 18 months because it was accelerated by the pandemic. So for the purpose of, for Metabrands and for this presentation today, what is the metaverse? Metaverse is virtual space in which users can interact within an immersive environment with other users. So this could look very different. This could look like, a fantastical city. It could look realistic. And even if you think of video games like Animal Crossing, where you're actually participating in the space, that actually works as a definition of our metaverse too. The easiest way to really think about the metaverse and where it's taking us is if you think about what we do today, we're looking at a computer screen, and that computer screen is very much a two-dimensional world. But if you think about it becoming three-dimensional, this is where the metaverse is taking us. Similarly, shopping in the metaverse. Now when we go shopping, we're just scrolling through flat pictures of products. Well, that experience is going to become much more interactive and immersive with this new technology. Even products in the metaverse, advertising, marketing products, what might have just been a stale picture in the past becomes something that you can be really creative with, very rich in content, and very dynamic. The other thing that's interesting about the metaverse is it's all in first-person perspective. So you're actually being the one that's taking part in this experience. And this is important because that brings us to avatars. And avatars are the representation of you within the space. There you can see on the left is the evolution of Roblox avatars. And avatars can take many different shapes and sizes and don't even necessarily need to be human. But one thing is true about avatars is the technology behind them is evolving so quickly, they're becoming so realistic. And combine that with AI and you start getting things that are kind of creepy, right? Because this person here does not exist. They're created. And this is happening more and more with virtual influencers, virtual spokespeople, virtual bands, that play music. So there's a lot happening in the space, and it's very important to bring up because there's a whole avatar economy with virtual products that's been the result of this. So the metaverse is also made up of a lot of different technologies. I mentioned video games, VR, which is virtual reality, which you need headsets for, augmented reality, which is like Pokemon Go, mixed reality, extended reality. But right now, the truth is that web-based is still much more popular than doing VR, than headsets. Obviously, I'm sure everyone knows that Apple's now in the space. It's growing very quickly and changing and evolving. But if you're marketing today, web is still where it's at. In terms of where the metaverse is heading, no question that there's a lot of money to be made. $5 trillion in business and consumer annual global spending is projected, and some analysts are forecasting the metaverse market to be worth up to $30 trillion by 2030. The metaverse is where you're going to work, play, and shop. According to Gartner, 25% of people will spend at least 1 hour a day in the metaverse by 2026. So why is this all really important? It's really important because of Gen Z. And I know that a lot of people up here today have talked about Gen Z, but the important thing to know about Gen Z is they have the purchasing power. Very similar to that perfect storm that I was talking about in terms of technology. Similarly, Gen Z now accounts for almost double the purchasing power of millennials. They are a generation that account for most direct spending in the US. They represent 40% of consumers. And the other important thing about Gen Z, other than the fact that they're the ones with the most purchasing power by far, is that they're digital natives. They grew up in a world where there was digital worlds. If you think about Webkins, I was just attending a presentation about phygital products. Think about Webkins. They were physical stuffed animals with a virtual counterpart in this virtual world where people experienced it in first-person perspective. So this is not anything new to Gen Z. This is a world that they know and grew up in. Webkins, Sims, even Club Penguin. What I'm going to do really quickly today is take you through some examples of the way brands are tapping into this space via gaming, events, e-commerce, virtual worlds, and virtual products. First, gaming. Gaming is the most popular way that brands are getting into the metaverse today. Roblox and Fortnite definitely being the standout among them. Then there's Web3 new platforms like Decentraland and The Sandbox. And Roblox can't go unignored. They have 230 million registered users. They have about 66 million daily active users. And no question that Roblox is currently the strongest and most popular metaverse out there for brands. But Roblox isn't just a video game. Roblox is actually social media. Roblox users in the US spend an average of 156 minutes per day on the platform. And that's about the same amount of time as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube all combined. And most of the time that they're on in Roblox, they're being social. They're interacting with other players. So the whole concept of gaming has become much more social and interactive and not just competitive. The other thing to note about Roblox is a lot of people just think of it as a kid's video game. And yeah, there's a lot of kids. There's 45% are 13 and under. But more than 55% are older than 13. And according to the founder of Roblox, the platform's fastest growing demographic is users between 17 and 24. And 17 to 24 represents 22% of Roblox player base. And when you're talking about 230 million registered users, that's a lot of people. The other game that's very popular, obviously, is Fortnite. Fortnite is continuing to grow. It's the biggest if you look at the number of registered users with 400 million. 63% of the Fortnite players are 18 to 24, but about 90% are male. So this is very much more targeted to the male demographic. So looking at the toy brands that have activated in Roblox, you have everyone from Hasbro, Mattel with Barbie and Hot Wheels, MGA, WowWee, Spin Master. And retailers getting in on it too. So this was Walmart. Walmart launched this last year, this world within, well, Walmart Land within Roblox. And they just came out with their new second iteration this past week leading up to the holidays. Amazon, same. They actually launched something last year in Roblox, and they just launched an update as well. The other way to get into Roblox, other than building a game, is to become part of an existing game, because one of the biggest challenges of building a game is getting people there and letting them know about it. So brands like Spin Master, Barbie and Polly Pocket, even Athletic Girl, actually did integrations within existing games that already had a lot of users. So for example, Livetopia is actually the most popular game on Roblox. I think it has 3 billion... Where is it? Over 3 billion visits since launch. So these are games that have regular people coming in, millions and millions of people coming in. So they do an integration where they actually create some kind of event within that game that's branded. This is just a quick look at some of the brands that are on Roblox. With Metabrands, we actually track everything so that when we do have a client within a certain product category, we're very well educated in terms of who's doing what in the space. Similarly, Fortnite, Target, Verizon, NFL, Timberland, Timex, Adidas, Balenciaga. You'll see a lot of fashion brands. Fashion has really led the way within the virtual space, as well as music. Events, so concerts, fashion shows, award shows, parties, art exhibits, trade shows, sales meetings. The number of things that you can do within this space is really unlimited. But I think what really caught everyone's attention, especially marketers like myself, was, if anyone remembers back in February of 2019 when Marshmello had the concert in Fortnite, I know at my house it was a really big deal. I think my son stayed up till, I don't even know when. But there were 10.7 million people that attended this concert back in 2019. And as a marketer, I was like, that's amazing. That number of people that are like in this one place experiencing this thing together is much bigger than any stadium could ever hold. So that's when I think there was an aha moment for a lot of marketers, that how do we get our brand in front of audiences this size? And then you had Travis Scott do a concert in April of 2020, and he sold virtual product, about $20 million worth of virtual product in a 10-minute pre-recorded show. That's much more than he makes even touring live. Not to mention the cost of schlepping equipment and transportation and whatever else. So there's real money happening in this space. A lot of different concerts. Roblox is actually tapping into music in a very big way. They're purposely really trying to age up their demographic and using music to do that. And there are many other companies that are in the music space as well with virtual concerts, whether it's VR or through streaming platforms, Wave, Room, Amaze VR. We work with all of them. And then in terms of events, who's to say, why don't we have a virtual toy fair? That would be amazing, so that people don't have to travel and could actually go and explore the different booths, et cetera. Because Fashion Week does it. Fashion Week holds Metaverse Fashion Week every year in Decentraland. And this is a build that we did with Donna Karen. The other way that this space is being used in Roblox specifically, which is really exciting, is as a distribution platform. So Spin Master actually streamed a full season of Bakugan within a theater in Roblox. Stranger Things had an immersive watch party to launch the new season. So there's entertainment happening within the gaming space. Then we get into virtual retail. As I mentioned before, we're going from a flat shopping experience to one that's much more immersive. More than 15 Ralph Lauren stores that you see here have been virtualized after their initial Beverly Hills store recognized 11 times traffic compared to their physical store. And again, the brands that are getting in, at Chanel, Burberry, Bloomingdale's, General Mills, Universal Music, Tommy Hilfiger. American Girl actually has done this in a really great way, where they actually have a virtual store where you go in and you actually pick whether you're a grown-up or a kid. And if you're a kid, you go into this whole fantasy world of where it takes you and tells different stories about American Girl and the different characters, and it's an incredible opportunity for content for the American Girl brand. If you're a parent, it takes you into the store and you can go shopping. If you're a kid, you can create a wish list. So this is a great opportunity about using the platform to create content for your brand. Really interesting statistics in terms of e-commerce. On average, 3D virtual shopping has resulted in 250% online sales growth for companies. Virtual 3D shopping has 70% higher conversion rates compared to traditional online shopping. And among consumers who have visited a virtual store, 70% have made a purchase. And retailers offering a virtual shopping experience have seen ROIs of 450% and higher. So virtual worlds and virtual products. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of different disconnected virtual worlds out there. Even looking at Meta in the corner for work. But the virtual goods market is really what's driving the profitability of the gaming companies that are growing exponentially. The forecast by 2025 is that 95% of game revenue is coming from the sale of virtual items. And anyone that's a parent there knows it's all about buying the V-Bucks for Fortnite or Robux for Roblox. And so a lot of money is being spent, a lot of virtual products are being bought. Another platform that's popular is doing fashion, and I mentioned direct to avatar. It's this whole new economy that's been created, and brands like Ralph Lauren, Gucci, Tommy have all tapped into this so that people could dress their avatar in different fashions. You're talking Christian Dior, DKNY, Crocs, Gucci. They're all on this platform called Zepeto. Zepeto, you might not have heard of, is a really great platform if a lot of your business is done in Asia or internationally. It's a social media platform, so it's primarily on mobile devices, but it's immersive, it's shopping, it's social, it's very cool. We did this for DKNY. So, how can interactive immersive worlds help your business? Well, as I mentioned, it helps you reach new audiences. Gen Z, as well as Alpha coming up behind it, have the purchasing power. You engage consumers. I talked about engaging with new content, interacting with them, rewarding them, connecting users to the brand, building fan community, and creating long-lasting relationships with an engaged audience. You can revitalize or evolve brand perceptions. So if you're a brand that's been around a while, you can recreate who you are and talk to this new audience. Staying competitive and relevant. Big brands, you saw a lot of brands up there today. Big brands have been really bullish in the space. And there's new emerging virtual first brands. I'm going real fast. I could talk about this for days. But there's a company called Artifact, which was actually created in some guy's garage during the pandemic. And it was only virtual sneakers. And it caught the eye of Nike, who no longer was the leader in sneakers in this space. So they bought Artifact. So there are companies that are being created simply out of virtual products. I like to liken that to Amazon. So while retailers like Walmart or Target, the internet was coming up, no one thought a company like Amazon, was there. So there was new companies that were created out of this technology. We're seeing the same thing happen, and it's going to be happening more and more. You got to be in it to win it. Over $1 trillion in annual revenue, total market estimates of up to $30 trillion. Shopping in the metaverse will eventually overtake online shopping and social shopping. Again, it's just a different shopping experience, and once you experience that richer, better experience, it'll make two-dimensional shopping look very old school. The other thing is business-to-business opportunities and using this space, using it for trade events, using it for sales meetings. People don't have to travel. It's a great option if you want to lower your costs. And all of these things add up to increased sales and higher revenue. So this chart is one that I love. This was a survey done with Gen Z, asking them unaided who your favorite fashion brands are. So these are the top 20 brands. What we did is we went through it. Anyone with an R has activated in Roblox. Anyone with an F is activated in Fortnite. Z is Zepeto. M is Minecraft. And then all of those in yellow have activated on one of those platforms. So 16 of the top 20 mentioned brands have activated in this space. Then if you add Web3 into it and NFTs, you're talking 19 of the top 20 of unaided brand awareness within Gen Z. So no question is this having an impact on Gen Z. So just to wrap it up, I know I went really fast, but we covered a lot of ground. According to Campaign Magazine, the metaverse will play a huge role in the future of business, such that all brands will need to be involved in some way if they want to continue to see growth. So that's the metaverse and how brands are taking advantage of the space. And if you're a brand out there thinking about getting into this space, my biggest suggestion is if you are trying to talk to an audience that's Gen Z or Gen Alpha, you need to be in the space. You go to where the people are, and this is where the people are. They're not watching TV. They're online. They are on social media, but more and more, these gaming platforms are being used for socialization as well. So that's it, with 21 seconds to spare. Any questions?
We'd like to, oh, you have a question, go ahead.
It totally depends. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the user base across Roblox and Fortnite, is really pretty much spread across, like those are really global platforms. I mentioned Zepeto. Zepeto started in Korea, and so it's really grown a lot out of Asia, but their North American growth is happening exponentially. They've been around for 5 or 6 years, and now we're seeing a lot more brands tap into Zepeto. It's a really interesting platform. Are you familiar with Zepeto? Yeah, so, and anyone that's not familiar, if you haven't played on Roblox, if you haven't, gone on Zepeto, the best way to learn about this space is just to go in and play, just to experience it. And then you'll, have a better understanding of how users are engaging within those worlds. And go and check out, Barbie's Dream House in Roblox.